All right, so the first thing you want to know about development of a baby is that it happens in the uterus. So that's what this whole picture is. This is the uterus inside that big belly of a pregnant woman. And the next thing is that that baby is inside a big sac, like a clear membrane sac. Um, so if you've ever seen like a C-section video, you can maybe see the baby still in a sack, or when my dog had puppies, all the puppies were born in a little sack that the mom actually eats off, which is kind of disgusting. But all babies are in a sac, and inside that sac is amniotic fluid. All right. So when a woman in a movie says, "Oh, my water broke," and water comes flowing out, that's this sac. It's just like this sac of fluid all around the baby. That's what that water breaking is. It actually only happens to like 10% of women. Most other women go into labor without the water breaking. So why would you want a bunch of fluid around your baby? Well, it's going to act as protection, right? A big bag of fluid around your baby. It's kind of like a big airbag or a water bed. If you get hit, you can get hit pretty hard in the stomach while you're pregnant, and the baby will be okay because you have that nice squishy water layer. All right. So we have the sac, the fluid, and again, the uterus is where this all happens. That's one of their favorite things to ask. And they might ask in a tricky way, like if you were doing in vitro fertilization, where they take the woman's egg and the man's sperm, and they take a needle and they fertilize it, and they put it directly into the woman. They might say, well, where would they put that? Well, where would you want a baby develop? In the uterus. All right. So they might ask you something tricky like that. Next thing is their absolute other favorite to ask about is the placenta. So a lot of people mistakenly think the placenta is for the protection, but that was the amniotic fluid, right? It's squishy water. So the placenta, if you look at it, kind of looks like tree branches. That branching is like blood vessels, like veins and arteries. So why would you want veins and arteries going into your baby? Um, and what does our blood, veins, and arteries do? Well, it delivers stuff that we need delivered to us, and it takes away stuff that we don't want in our cells. So it's going to deliver things from the mom to the baby. Well, what would that be? Well, you want nutrients to get to your baby, right? And oxygen. And unfortunately, any drugs that the mother does while she's pregnant or alcohol, that gets through the placenta through the baby. Any good stuff that she takes, that should get through the placenta to the baby. And then what does she want to take away? Well, like the waste, like CO2. All right, so that is the main stuff that they like you to know. I will show you a couple other things. All right, so this is less likely to be asked about, but it is interesting. So this right here, right below the baby, that is the birth canal. That's how the baby's going to get out, and that is the vagina. Okay, so the same place where sex happens and where the sperm came in is going to be where the baby is going to go out. All right. So the vagina is the birth canal. And then right here, the cervix is kind of like the opening to the birth canal. See how it's kind of like, so it's like a narrow opening. So that's like in the movies when you hear like she's 4 centimeters dilated, they're saying like that opening is like 4 centimeters open. So it starts out like totally closed so that the baby's held in all the time. And then it starts to open 1 centimeter, up 2 centimeters, 3 centimeters. 4 is when you can finally have an epidural. So usually women are like, oh, get me to 4 centimeters, because they don't want to give you pain medicine before that because it might like slow down your delivery. And then it's going to keep opening to like 9 or 10 centimeters. And that's when they're going to say, okay, time to push that baby out because that cervix right there is open enough. All right. So that is one other kind of interesting thing. So you have to know all these parts. Oh, the other thing is the placenta they love to ask about. This is kind of a zoomed in. So remember the placenta looked like this big sack of like of branchy stuff. So the placenta is not just something that you've heard on the news, maybe, or not in the news, but that the Kardashians eat. Okay. It's like these branching blood vessels. So this is the mom's blood and this is baby's blood. So mom's blood kind of comes here and branches out, and baby's blood kind of comes and branches. And they don't quite touch because you don't want the blood mixing. You just want the blood to get close enough so there's just this little gap where the nutrients can diffuse through so that mom can send the baby some good stuff and the baby can send back some waste. All right. So the big things to know here are, oops, I'm out of here, that happens in the uterus. The placenta provides all the nutrients, and the amniotic fluid is the cushion. All right.